Good morning, Facebook family and friends. Welcome to Meta Mondays. And this is your host, Dr. Linda Williams Lockhart. Good Monday morning. Will you please share, share, subscribe to my YouTube page at Meta Mondays. Today is part 2 or episode 2 from last week. I asked you to think about your childhood, any type of trauma that occurred in your life, to think about it and to be able or to be willing to share your story. Now, I just finished hearing a session with Dr. Simone McIntyre, and something that she said that was very profound. She said, God cannot heal what is not revealed. God cannot heal what you are not willing to reveal. So in other words, what she's saying is, it's okay to get help. It's okay to get help with whatever you've been through in your life. Now, to go back to what I was saying last week about how I grew up, my childhood. Well, I'm going to continue with how I was reared by my grandmother. And I told you last week, she was mean, she was cruel, she did not have love for people, she didn't have love for her family. Her daughter, my mother, had 6 children, and she didn't show love. She didn't. But I can only talk about my story. So I was placed in her home at 8 years old after my mom died. And again, I have no recollection of who my father is, just rumors, but concrete knowledge, I don't know. But her husband wasn't my grandfather. His name was Harrison Harbinson. And I remember as if it was yesterday. I was outside playing, and he said to me, Linda, it looks like there's a bruise on the side of your leg. Guys, I remember what I had on that day. I had on a pair of red shorts and a white t-shirt. And so he asked me to go in the kitchen to get him a drink of water. So that's nothing out of the norm. So I did. I went in the house. I was standing at the sink. I turned on the sink. I was getting him a glass of water. And he called my name. He said, Linda, he said, pull your shorts down. I'm going to show you what the little boy's going to do to you. So when I turned around, I saw that he had his private part out. I had no idea what he was about to do. I really didn't. Because I was between the age of, I think like 8, maybe 9. Because I can't remember if my mother was still living or not, because she stayed in and out of the hospital so much. So I really can't remember if she was deceased or if she was still living. She died when I was 8. And so I can't really pinpoint if this happened when I was 8 or if it happened when I was 9. But anyway, when I turned around and I saw that he had his private part out, I said to him, oh, I'm telling on you. I said, you're not supposed to show me your private part. So he tried to tell me, shut up. No, you don't tell it. I said, oh, I'm telling it on you because you're not supposed to show me your private part. Again, I had no idea what he was wanting to do to me. I didn't know at the time that he had raped just about everybody in the house. I didn't know. I was a kid. So when my grandmother came home, I said to her, at that time, you know, we had to use handles on names. So I said, Mr. Harrison showed me his private part and wanted to show me what the little boys are going to do to me. She said, do what? So I repeated myself. She said, okay. So they got into this big fight, argument. I still didn't know what was going on. So everyone that came by our house, I told them. Mr. Harrison showed me his private part. I had no idea what I was saying. Now, instead of my grandmother, which now I'm not surprised, taking up for me, the abuse intensified because I told it. And a lot of times victims are made to believe that it's their fault, that you caused this, to make you feel ashamed. But I didn't even know what I was supposed to have been ashamed about. I didn't know what I was telling. So my brother James, that's when he became my protector. And I remember him coming in the house. And I don't know how he found out. Back then family told stuff to each other. But him and Harrison got in a fight. And he became my protector. And he threatened him and said, if you touch my sister, I will kill you. And a lot of times we don't realize that when we don't tell, it impacts us for life. Now, I'm not telling you, if you choose not to tell, that's your business. But it's going to impact you for life. And not only you, but people around you. When you hold things in, it impacts you, causes high blood pressure, diabetes, depression. You can become suicidal. Because when we allow those things to just, the trauma that have occurred in our lives, when we allow those things to, again, hold us hostage, it messes us up. Yes, we have to forgive. We have to. But that's a process. We have to take time. And guys, it's okay to get counseling. It is okay to get counseling because some of us have been through such trauma in our lives and we've never gotten help. I know I didn't until I was grown. It's okay to seek out counseling. It's okay to seek out therapy. Because we have to be able to process it. We have to be able to work through these things. And when we don't, guess what we do? Not only do we carry it into adulthood, we carry it into our marriages. We carry it into having our children, our grandchildren, when we don't deal with our issues. I know what I'm talking about. Because all of that mental and emotional abuse, I never dealt with it. So I couldn't understand, well, why do I act this way? Why do I treat people this way? It's because I never dealt with my trauma from my childhood. And my story is just a platform to let you know it's okay to tell your story. Because God has given you the story to tell. And see, our story should tell his story. How God has brought us through. Dr. Simone McIntyre, she's a therapist, a clinical therapist, and she said, God plus therapy equals healing. So we got to get help. We have to know that it's okay for us to tell our story. because you don't know who is going to help. I've had many people that have come up to me when I shared this story in workshops, in churches, or what have you, that has come up to me and said, thank you for letting me know that it's okay for me to talk about the trauma that I endured, that I encountered in my life. Because Satan wants us to be bound by those tragedies, by those that trauma. But we don't have to be. Now, it's a process. It's a process. I'm still working through it. But that's the key word. I'm working through it. Because I want us to get to the point that we live a healthy life. Physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Because when we don't, it affects not just us, but it affects others around us. So get to the point that it's okay. It's okay to share. If you don't want to share it like me publicly, it's okay. You don't have to share it publicly, but share it with someone. If the person that caused your trauma is dead, go to the grave and I know they can't hear you, but go to the grave and just talk it out. And then forgive them. Start the process of forgiveness. Not for them, but for you. But for you. Because I'm telling you, don't allow our inner self to become our enemy. Don't do it. Because I'm telling you, our childhood, a lot of us, messed us up. So allow your story to be heard by someone. And I want you to think about, this week I want you to think about who caused the trauma? Who's responsible for your hurt? What did they do to you? Ask yourself, well, did I do anything to cause it? Chances are no, but just ask yourself that. Are you willing to forgive them? Are you willing to get help? Are you willing to talk it out with someone, a therapist? And listen, a lot of our pastors are not trained to help us. They're not trained for that. You have to get a professional to help you. Don't allow the enemy to keep you bound by the trauma and tragedies that you've experienced or encountered. Let's talk about it. Again, this is your host, Dr. Linda Williams Lockhart. I'm asking you again to follow me on Facebook at Dr. Linda Williams Lockhart and on YouTube at Meta Mondays. Like, subscribe, and share. God bless you, and I love you. And until next week, have a super fantastic, great week. Love you guys.